fact, what we have seen is that for many years now, we have accumulated a lot of knowledge on the impact of the different wavelengths of the sun on the skin, in physiological condition, depending on the type of skin you have, but also in many dermatoses. But we also observe that most of the patients, when it's coming to choose their sunscreen, they just pick the SPF, and most of the time the highest SPF, and they are not looking further. And it's a shame, because we have now a lot of information, and we can use a tailored photoprotection depending on your skin type, where you are living, and what kind of dermatoses. So with a group of international experts, we gathered all this knowledge about the impact on the sun in the skin, and we made recommendations for physicians, pharmacists, and also for, of course, for patients. So they can choose the best type of sunscreen depending on their skin type, where they are living, and again, if they have any type of dermatosis. So this recommendation has been published in the European Journal of Dermatology, and they are free available. And so the first thing I would like to emphasize is that we know, for example, that depending on your skin type, you don't need the same type of photoprotection. This seems obvious. For fair skin types, protection against UVB, meaning the SPF, is crucial. So the fair skin type you are, the more SPF value you need to use. However, what is also demonstrating is when it comes to the UVA, and especially the long wave UVA, that account for about 80% of all UV we are receiving each day. And they are much more constant through the year, and they are coming through glasses, for example. So we are constantly exposed to UVA. And UVA impact all skin types the same. So whatever you are, very fair skin type or very dark skin types, you are affected by UVA, and that's well demonstrated on pigmentation, on inflammation, on immunosuppression. Everyone is affected by UVA. Finally, when it comes to the visible light, it's the opposite of the UVB. The more darker skin you have, the more sensitive to visible light you have. So just if you don't have any other dermatological issue, you see that you are not taking the same type of UV protection. Of course, if you're living in lower latitudes or in altitudes, the UV index, and especially the UVB index, is higher. So you have to use the SPF 50 plus, even if you are dark skin type. So of course, the place you are living is also affecting the type of protection you want to use. Some other example, for many photodermatoses, it's not only UVB. Some are UVB triggered, but some are triggered by UVA. Many photosensitivity after taking treatments, it's mostly UVA. So if you're just looking at the SPF, at the end, you are not well protected, because for these cases, you need high UVA protection. Some photodermatoses are triggered by visible light, such as cutaneous porphyria. So in this case, there's no need to UV protection. It's protection against visible light that is mandatory. For skin cancer, UVB is playing a key role, but UVA also, especially for melanoma. So you clearly need a very well-balanced UVA and UVB protection. So again, and there are many, many examples for that. So the main and the key message is that you have to have a tailored photoprotection. Last example, when you have, for example, acne, you need a photoprotection, but the type of skin you have is much more oily. So you need to adapt also the texture of your photoprotection. So what we try to summarize is to give advice for physician and for patient to choose their sunscreen, because now we can say, okay, I have this type of skin, I need this kind of sunscreen. So the first tips I would like to emphasize is that, again, just remind that long wave UVA is affecting any type of people all around the world, what type of skin types you have. So it's mandatory not to just look at the SPF and look also at the protection against UVA. Just the UVA logo that we have in Europe and in South America, for example, is not enough in most cases. So this is really important to have this. The other tips is for all pigmentary disorder, in top of a very good UVA and UVB protection, you also need to add a protection against visible light. And in the future, we need probably to combine these sunscreen with agents, for example, depigmenting agents, antioxidants, some agents that straighten the basal membrane, etc., depending on the type of dermatosis we have, to have better efficiency for all the patients. And if I may, I would like to also emphasize that now all this knowledge is well known and is accessible. So it's mandatory to widespread this knowledge, so any dermatologist, any physician, pharmacist can advise the patient depending, again, on their skin types, dermatosis, and place they are living, so they have a tailored photoprotection. What we have seen is that despite all this knowledge, most patients and some physicians are not aware of this knowledge. So I think that we hope that this recommendation will be read, but probably we need that social media, press will widespread this information, because it's really key and it's in our daily life. So we really need to have to apply this recommendation for all patients.